Okay, so now that you're able to create an equation for your perimeter, so just very quickly for this first design, hopefully you notice that the perimeter is always equal to the input, which is your figure number, times 12. So you would take your figure number and you would multiply it by 12 in order to get the perimeter. So 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 12 is 24, 3 times 12 is 36, and so on and so forth. Now, depending on your design, you might have a different equation for perimeter. Okay, now you're going to do the same thing, but for your area. So given the input, which is your figure number, so let's say my input is 1, what is the area of your figure? So here in my table, I noticed that for input is 1, my output is 6 square units. And then when my input is 2, it becomes 24 square units. So again, you might have to do a little bit of experimenting. You might say, well, maybe I have to multiply my input by 6. So I have to do input times 6 because when my input is 1, I get 6 units. But when I do my input as 2, so 2 times 6, you notice that I get 12 square units, which is not the correct output. So again, this may need some playing around in order for you to figure out what the equation for the area is. And this is really challenging, a lot more challenging than the perimeter equation, so I'm going to give you a couple of hints. My first hint, so hint number 1, is look at the area of each square tile made up of the square units. So what I mean by that, and I'm going to highlight what I'm talking about, is when you look at figure 2, you notice that I have these squares that are 2 by 2s. And then when I look at figure 3, I have squares that are 3 by 3, right? I'm hoping that you're noticing that. And then, so I'm going to circle that so you notice. Here in my figure 2, I have a 2 by 2 square, and I have, figure 3, I have a 3 by 3 square, and so on. So that's my first hint. Take a look at those. My second hint is hint number 2. How many of those square tiles are there? Does this relate to the figure number and the area? Okay, so now that I'm hoping you're noticing these square tiles, try to think about how they might be related to the figure number and to the ultimate output, which is the area. Go ahead, use these 2 hints, spend some time on this, brainstorm, talk about it with your classmates, figure out an equation for the area of any given figure.